Is Mark Ward right about the King James Bible having many words that need to be updated to modern usage? And is Mark Ward's False Friend series actually doing King James Bible believers a favor? I've made some posts recently where I have shared Mark Ward's videos on different words like mansion meaning rooms and study meaning be diligent and stuff like this. I appreciate what he says and how he backs up his research on these different topics. There's been a lot of great responses from a lot of the people that I'm friends with, different people on the YouTube channel. There's been a lot of good feedback. I would say a lot of the time that I actually do agree with Mark Ward's research more than some of what I've seen from some of my own friends. So, and it just depends. I don't agree with him on everything, but I also, just to let you know, I'm going to tell you what I agree with Mark Ward on. I'm going to tell you what I disagree with Mark Ward on, because I disagree with him on some stuff. And I'm going to tell you what I really think today about Mark Ward. There's been a rumor starting to spread around. I'm not going to say who's starting to spread it, but there is a rumor that Mark Ward is my hero and that I'll defend him, tooth and nail, and that he's amazing, and in my opinion, and that I'm just like one of his diehard fans, and there's just little bubbles that come out of my eyes shaped like hearts every time I hear anything about Mark Ward. I'm not going to say that. I would say that he seems to research some stuff pretty well. I would say that he is wrong about, Greek text and stuff like this. But I also, I like what we're doing as a channel, looking into what we've always accepted as King James Bible believers, fact-checking it, so to speak. I hate that word, but, it's basically what we're doing. We're going back, we're checking the sources, we're trying to figure things out for ourselves, see what competing arguments are, because I have a channel called the Bible Version Conspiracy. That's what this is on. If you like that kind of stuff, if you like, this whole idea, hit subscribe, hit like. I really, 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 really want things like Gail Ripplinger has said, like some of the stuff Peter Ruckman has said. There's another book that I just bought called Modern Version Incursion, things that they said. I would love them to be true. I have a channel that's dedicated to this stuff. I look into them critically because I want to use the arguments that they're using. But when I find that they don't pan out, I can no longer use the argument. This is the situation that I'm in. And doing that, I'm actually more prepared now, I think, than any other time in my life, moving from the beginning of this channel and even further back to when we would just do, the videos about different books and stuff like this. I think I'm actually more prepared now to actually listen to what King James only critics have to say about things. So, like I said, I've got a lot of sorting out to do. I appreciate all your guys' feedback. You can let me know what you think about this video down in the comments section, and I really want to hear your thoughts. So, here are my thoughts. One of the things, and one of the main things that I disagree with Mark Ward on, is the underlying New Testament Greek to be translated as the English Bible. Although I am still researching some of the questions that I have on it, and still listening to a lot of people that have done a lot more work than I have on this subject, I am open to information from both sides of the aisle. I'm not going to defend the research of an individual because I like the individual. I can't do that. I can't do it in good conscience. I can't do it as somebody that's looking into these and trying to look at things honestly. I may like people. I may like people like Gail Ripplinger, like Mark Ward, like, whoever. But I can't stand by their research if I look at the research myself and see that it doesn't work. And there have been some points, and there's going to be more points coming up in the future that just kind of fall short. So that's one of the main things that I disagree with Mark Ward on, is his choice of a revised, reasoned eclecticism, where you choose the reading that best explains the others. I see the logic in it, but there's still a lot that I've learned that doesn't jive with that theory. So stay tuned for more that we find out about this kind of stuff. I would disagree with him on there was a video that he made recently where he's like holding up his Bible and he's like this, and he said error in the King James Bible. It was a criticism of a translation in Job. I listened to it and I was just like, yeah, that seems pretty logical, pretty reasonable. He is a very convincing individual. He does a very thorough job. And when he got all done with it, I believe there was a guy that might have made a comment on it where he was just like, actually, this and this and the other thing. And it was like, oh yeah, it's not really an error. See, that's the thing that I keep on, butting up against. I would disagree with Mark Ward on that as well, that there are mistranslations in the King James Bible. I think they did a very, very thorough, careful job, and they got things right. A lot of their critics don't seem to understand why they did what they did. They just kind of are like, well, actually, this is how I think they made an error. But two things that I disagree with Mark Ward on: his choice of New Testament text, and also the Greek text to be translated. There's a couple of things that I will say that I agree with Mark Ward on, and I'll let you know where I think he's doing King James Bible believers a favor. First thing that I agree with Mark Ward on, that there are words in the KJV which have changed meaning in the last 400 years. And this is true. Dan Wallace in the Ankerberg Show discussion with Sam Gipp, Joseph Chambers, and Thomas Strauss. Daniel Wallace pointed out that he said there was about 300 words in the King James Bible that have changed meaning since 1611. He was not talking about archaic words. He was talking about words that have changed meaning since 1611. A good example, the word let. Word let used to mean prevent. I believe it might have also been used in both ways, but let would mean to stop somebody from doing something, and let today means allow, typically. There are some uses, like I believe in basketball, where you prevent somebody and it's called a let or whatever. So it's like it's got more of that secondary kind of niche usage, but typically we don't use it that way. There's a lot of other examples. Even though they have changed meaning since 1611, I would not say that they are translation errors. So like when the King James Bible says mansion, if mansions means rooms, which apparently it did mean that also in 1611, it makes a lot more sense than, having a great big grandiose mansion inside of a house, unless the Father's house is just understood as being heaven, I suppose. But I would not say that mansion is a mistranslation. It's just that the use of that word has fallen out of popular usage. So, and this is something too that has kind of sprung from the desire to defend errors in the King James Bible. It has gone a step past that, and I'm not saying that I necessarily always disagree, but it's gone a step past I'm defending the King James Bible from errors to there is no possibility that the Word of God, that the King James Bible can be revised in any way. So, like, it is basically evil now. Instead of just defending the King James Bible as not having errors in it, it is now evil to update it. Because, like even taking the word color and not having the word U, the letter U in it, if you had it just color, the American spelling, not the British spelling, then that is considered evil because you have changed God's word. I think that is a step too far, personally. I want to hear what you guys think about it. question of the day, can the King James Bible ever be updated or even changed in spelling? So, and there's another question that Mark Ward actually asks, which I think I would love to hear your guys' opinion on. So, I'm going to try to wrap this up here in a second. Some false friends in the KJV are more likely to lead to misunderstandings and wrong interpretations than archaic words. I agree with him on that one. I can look up a word that I don't know, and I will look up a word that I don't know. But when it comes to a word that I think I know, a word that I don't know, I could end up fooling myself. I could end up making up a wrong interpretation based on what I'm reading. It has happened many, many times to a lot of people, and Mark Ward only gives a handful of examples. The way that I think Mark Ward is benefiting us, when Mark Ward makes a video about false friends in the King James Bible, he says, he gives you the verse or whatever, and he's like, understandest what thou readest in the King James Bible. He goes through, shows how it was used, shows the archaic sense of it, what was more used back in that day, how it has changed throughout history. And then at the end of the video, he ends with, hopefully now thou understandest what thou readest a little better. Sticking with the exclusive use of the King James Bible, we need to know what the words mean. Not just what we assume they mean. That should be everybody's desire. To, when you open up the Bible and you read it for yourself, if you have Mark Ward's video in your mind, or if you have the Oxford English Dictionary definition or whatever in your mind, or the Lexicon of Early Modern English by the University of Toronto, if you have that in your mind and you're just like, oh, actually, yeah, this is how this word was used then. And the more that becomes popularized, not only do more King James Bible believers understand what they readest, I guess you could say, but also it lessens the need for updating or revising the King James Bible, because now it is more widely known that this is what this word means. Like the word mansion is a good example. That is one that is popularly understood as meaning rooms. I've known that since I watched, what is his name? Ray Vanderlaan or whatever, with his Tours of Israel. He mentions that, if I'm not mistaken. And I've known that since then. And knowing that since then, I've been like, oh, this is what this means. So does the word mansion there need to even be updated? For me, not necessarily, because I know the definition. So I think that's where he's actually doing King James Bible believers a favor, helping them understand and helping more people understand exactly what they readest. Regarding one of his main questions, what percentage of unintelligibility are we willing to allow in the King James Bible before it actually gets revised? There are going to be people that respond to this question on the one end of the spectrum, where it is forever, eternally, however it happens, even if English turns into a form that is absolutely foreign to us, just as foreign as reading Beowulf in its original English, really early English. Even if it gets that foreign, it will be evil for anyone to update exactly what we have in the King James Bible in any form. There are people on that end of the spectrum. Then there are people on the other end of the spectrum that are okay with the idea of changing mansions to rooms, so long as it follows consistent Greek translation and the Textus Receptus, basically. I want to hear what your thoughts are. There's many people that lie in the middle on that spectrum. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate you watching this video. Let me dispel this before I leave. The rumor that Mark Ward is my hero. I appreciate the honesty that I get from him. I appreciate his creativity in his YouTube videos. I appreciate the quality that he puts in the quality and the hard work that he puts into the production, the research, the scripting, which most King James Bible believing YouTube people do not do. I try to do it a little bit, He does a phenomenal job, in my opinion. I think that he's done, like I said, I think he's done us a service. He's done me a service in many different ways. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I've messaged him a few times. Yeah, I appreciate his work. And Mark, if you're watching this video, yeah, man, I appreciate your work. I wouldn't say that he's my hero. If I was to say that somebody actually is my hero, it would be hard to say in the King James only discussion exactly who I would label as a hero. I would say that as far as Bible history and stuff like this, one of my heroes would be Ken Johnson of BibleFacts.org. His work on the Dead Sea Scrolls is unparalleled. Just amazing. So I highly recommend him. We feature his channel on ours. Keep reading your King James Bible like the devil's after it, because he is. There truly is a Bible version conspiracy. Have a good one.